All right, so I've put together another one-pager. This one's kind of focusing on online learning and what that looks like. There's a lot of information on this page. I'm going to break it down in each section and just give you a quick overview, and then you can read it to kind of figure out what it's really talking about. So the first is be flexible. We're moving from a very synchronous schedule to a very asynchronous schedule, in that students are going to be working when they are most comfortable. And so our approach is going to be very different as we go through this. Timing is different, but without the classroom management issues, we're able to get through content in a very different way. We also need to be flexible in the assignments that we give, allowing students to really demonstrate their knowledge, diversifying our final products and assessments. So that'll give us some flexibility in what we're trying to do. Reality is it's not going to look the same as the classroom setting because of that asynchronous aspect to it, and the fact that the students can do a whole lot of different types of assessments and share their knowledge in a different way. So then the next piece is that students are engaged in their own learning. This is something that happens because of that asynchronous environment, in that the students can kind of dive into the things that they want to dive into. They can go deeper into some things and just hit the surface on others. That all leads to us being able to create and facilitate a very different type of learning. But what happens is the transition activities that we've had in the traditional classroom are replaced with more free exploration. Crowd control, the things we have to do, becomes guided discovery. And then teaching to the middle, we tend to initially teach right there in the middle, and then we add either enrichment or remediation. But now, instead of teaching in the middle, we can really provide that personalized learning. This will lead to what is often referred to as deeper learning. The Hewlett organization has a number of deeper learning competencies. I've got a link there on the document that you can go to see what those competencies are and what some of the standards are for that. Students can become content contributors. So the teacher doesn't have to be the only person that does that. When they dive into that a little bit more, they become part of the learning, and teachers are learners, and learners are teachers, and we get to both be part of that group. So I've outlined 4 different ways that you can kind of have the students be part of that. One is what I'm calling watch, prep, and contribute. So the teacher provides some video, whether it's a lecture or a document, a primary source, whatever that might be. They provide something for the students to dive into, and then the students, either individually or as groups, are given topics that they can then prep for the time-bound event where everybody's together and they can contribute. So the teacher isn't the only one providing knowledge and content during those time-bound events. Jigsawing, very much like what you do in the classroom if you've ever done that, where students have different pieces, they bring those all together in that time-bound event. Content curator. So this is something that I've been working with some others on, is creating an opportunity for students to take content and organize it and expound on it and share different thoughts and ideas. So providing, instead of a folder with resources and then follow-up questions, just a folder and here you go. And then content crowdsourcing. So I know a lot of teachers are scouring the internet trying to find content for their lesson, for the lecture, whatever it might be. Content crowdsourcing has the students do that work. So giving a guiding topic or driving questions, students collect that information, submit it through a drive or something like that, and then as a time-bound event, you can then have that discussion with the class as to, okay, what's this piece sharing? How is this piece a good piece? Is this a good source? And really use the students as the content providers. And finally, de-Googleifying our assessments. When we ask questions that are lower order thinking, those are very searchable. Students can get in Google, they can type the question and basically find the answer. We want to look for ways that we can create higher order thinking questions that really give a new light into what the students know and get their insight. So I've found a couple different sources. I've added some of my own, but there's a list of some different activities that will allow, and or different strategies that will allow for students to get into the higher order thinking, which means if they're sitting up there, they're less likely to have been able to just Google whatever that question was and just give you that answer. There's also a link there at the bottom if you want more information on some of those activities, what they look like and how they work. So overall, there's a quick overview of some online learning strategies, some different things that you can incorporate into your courses to try to move from that traditional classroom setting to what we're already calling non-traditional instruction. Hopefully that helps, and please reach out if you have questions.